Good morning, students. Today we are going to be focusing on a poem called The Human Abstract by William Blake. William Blake was a poet of the Romance era. He was quite influential. He is an English writer. And today we are going to be looking at The Human Abstract, which he wrote in 1794. So if you're thinking, man, 1794, that's a long time ago, you're absolutely right. Several hundred years ago. So when we think about that, it would make perfect sense that the language used back then is going to differ from the language we commonly use now. As a reader, the best thing I can do for myself in those situations when I have an older text is to go ahead and paraphrase the text. So when I paraphrase something, I'm putting it into my own words in a way that I can understand it. When I do that, it forces me to slow down, chunk the text, take little pieces at a time, and look closer at those pieces to see what they're saying. So that's what we're going to be working with today. You should have a document like this available to you on Google Classroom so that you can type up your own paraphrase. But we're going to go through the first couple stanzas together so you can kind of see how paraphrasing works. So I am going to turn off my camera so we can really focus in on the text. All right. So pity would be no more if we did not make somebody poor. So what I want to really be thinking about is I need to keep the meaning of the original text intact, but I'm making it simpler so that I know what it's saying. Pity would be no more. So when I pity someone, I feel sorry for them. So I want to make sure, again, what I'm going to translate to does have the original meaning. It's just in simpler terms. Pity would be no more. We could not feel sorry for people anymore if we did not make somebody poor. So that's pretty straightforward. All right, going down to our next couple of lines. In mercy, no more could be. There could not be any mercy. I'm just going to make it a little bit clearer for myself. Again, that line doesn't have too many words we have to completely change. If all were as happy as we. If everyone was as happy as we are. All right, so then I'm going to go back and reflect on this stanza. We could not feel sorry for people anymore if there wasn't anyone who was poor. Sorry, noticed my error. And it's not wanting to cooperate with me. All right, so what the poet is saying there, it seems like, is that if we don't have anyone in the world who's poor, if there's nobody who's experiencing any kind of suffering, then we have no one to pity or no one to feel sorry for. And then that's kind of reiterated in the next couple of lines. There could not be any mercy. So when we think of mercy, that's something that is given as a relief, right? Like we're going to be in this bad situation, deserving or not. And then if someone grants us mercy, they give us relief. They take us out of that situation. So if everyone's as happy as we are, no one has any troubles, there can't be mercy. So we're going to keep that in mind as we move into the next stanza and see if that same kind of relationship between things, we couldn't have this if it wasn't for this, continues on. And mutual fear brings peace. All right, so mutual is a word I do want to break down into simpler terms. Mutual is like when we are on the same level, right? We have something in common. When we're scared of the same things, people have peace, right? People get along. So that's kind of like even today, right? The coronavirus is something that many people are scared of. And because they have that common fear, there's less fighting over seemingly trivial things. We're all a little more willing to look past things that get on our nerves and to look out for the greater good. We got to get along with each other when there's something that we're mutually scared of. Till the selfish loves increase. So till, that means until. So something's about to change. Until the selfish loves we have get stronger. So if you do have your packet that I gave you last week, I think it might have been question 2 on the packet. It asked for you to notice the contrast in the poem. So I do want to note here, we already see a contrast. Selfish love. So if we think of love, that is something that is supposed to inherently be unselfish. If I love somebody, I care so greatly for them that I put their needs, things that make them happy, above the things that would make myself happy. So the author is definitely pointing out something here, selfish loves. What does that suggest? What's he trying to say about the love that's growing and getting stronger? The love that's breaking up the peace that we had when we were all scared of the same thing. Then cruelty knits a snare. I like that phrase. All right, so cruelty makes a snare is a trap and spreads his baits with care and carefully lays out his baits. All right, so when the selfish loves that the author has mentioned start to grow, they get stronger. Cruelty makes a trap and carefully lays out his baits. So what is cruelty going to use to lure people into his trap? He sits down with holy fears. That's another one of those contrasts, right? And that looks like the thing that is going to lure people into the trap, possibly. I'm not going to go through the entire poem with you. Is my video back? Hey. I'm not going to go through the entire poem with you because I want you to do some analysis work on your own. Right? It's easy if I go through and paraphrase the whole thing with you. I would like for you to complete the remainder of the poem alone. From the paraphrase, we're going to talk tomorrow about theme. So what is the meaning of this poem? What did the author want to get across to us with this text? Again, it is a denser text, so I do feel it necessary for us to break it down, paraphrase it, before we can dive in and attempt to discuss the theme of the text. All right, as always, if you need anything, sorry, I mumble sometimes. I'm sure you all know that. If you need anything, feel free to reach out and email me.